Once that goes live, I'll hit record, and then Mr. English, it'll be yours.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Vineland Board of Education.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm seeing that it's live streaming, Gene.
All right, there's. I'm gonna hit recording.
Good evening. Welcome to the Vineland Board of Education combined meeting, May 6, 2020. Roll call, please. Mr. Merkley.
Mr. Costa,
Here.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Here.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Here.
Mr. Holmes,
Here.
Mr. Sobrano,
Present.
Mr. Silva,
Here.
Mr. Spinelli,
Here.
Mr. Ulrich,
Present.
Mr. English.
Here. Thank you. In compliance with the Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following, announcing time and place thereof, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, SNJ Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Visto Bueno, the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, I ask that everyone please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
to the republic for which it stands,
which it stands,
One nation.
one nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Merkley, do we have a resolution for executive session this evening?
We do not.
Thank you. At this time, Dr. Gruccio, special presentations, please.
Yes, we have one special presentation tonight, and I'm very happy that we're able to do this. I wish it were in person, but we are going to be honoring our Teachers of the Year this evening and our educational services professionals. And I would like to thank each and every one of them for the job they do every day. They have really stepped up to the plate, and they're doing wonderful things for our students. So it gives me great pleasure to honor them. And I would also like to congratulate Mrs. Debbie Quinn. She is going to be recognized this year as our Administrator of the Year. So I congratulate each and every one of them. And I believe Gia put a presentation together for us so that we can recognize them.
Thank you.
Second, I don't recall getting that forwarded to me. Was it forwarded to me, Mary?
Yes.
I didn't get that presentation forwarded to me.
Okay, Gia, can we unmute Gia? She's.
Yeah, I can unmute her.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Jaya.
Hi, I'm sending it over to you again right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have it now. Let me just load it.
Thank you.
I definitely got to exit out of full screen because it's too big. Everyone see that?
Yes.
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 I'm going to go full screen with it, and I think it's going to take up your entire screen.
Okay.
maybe. Is that your whole screen now?
Yeah, it's loading, Gene.
There we go.
You want me to just go through it, Mary?
Yes, if you don't mind. I believe she has each one labeled and everything, and what school they're from.
Yeah, do you want to just, for the benefit of the people that are on the phone, you want to read
Okay.
the
Is there a
teacher?
way you can X the four of us out so we can see the whole screen?
Minimize it.
I think you have to do it.
Yeah.
Let's see what,
Mhm.
okay. All right, I think I've got it. First, we have Mr. James Lapsley from Vineland High School. He is an English teacher and has been teaching for 17 years in the district. We have Paul Myers from Vineland High School. He is our guidance, one of our guidance counselors, and he has been in our district for 12 years. We have Megan Schultz. Megan teaches at the AMSA program Johnstone School. She is a social studies teacher, and she has been with us for 10 years. Have Amanda Biggs, Wallace Middle School. She teaches special ed and basic skills to grades 6, 7, and 8. This is her 9th year in our district. We have Colleen Biggs, Wallace Middle School. She is our paraprofessional, and she has been with us for 7 years in our district. We have Jacqueline Moratelli. Jacqueline is at Veterans Memorial School. She's a 7th grade English teacher, and she has been in our district for 12 years. Maria Gaunt. She is our paraprofessional from Veterans Memorial School, and she has been with us for 15 years. We have Natalie Lopez. Natalie is from Pilla Middle School. She teaches 7th and 8th grade English, and she has been with us for 10 years. Teresa Janetta is also at Pilla Middle School. She is our paraprofessional, and she has been in our district for 17 years. Linda Fields is from Barcy Elementary School. She is a 3rd grade teacher, and this is her 20th year in our district. We have Patricia Davis. She is also at Barcy. She is our paraprofessional that has been recognized this year, and she has been with us for 22 years. Angelina Tedesco Weaver. She is at Petway, and she is a 3rd grade teacher. This is her 9th year with the Vineland District. Leslie Smith, also from Petway. She is a social worker, and this is her 17th year in our district. Karen Gillespie, Winslow School. She teaches grades 1 through 3, and she has been in our district for 22 years. Our educational professional is Denise Ferrari. She is also from Winslow School. She is a nurse there, and this is her 2nd year in the Vineland District. We have Melanie Smith from Durand Elementary School. She is a kindergarten teacher, and this is her 8th year in our district. Our educational professional is Laurie Rusnak from Durand Elementary School. Christina DiCino is at DePalito. She is a 1st grade teacher, and she has been with us for 9 years. Anita Slowinski is DePalito School, a paraprofessional, and she has been with our district for 10 years. Tara Meyerson. Tara Meyerson is at Menny's Elementary School. She is a 1st grade teacher, and this is her 11th year in our district. Wendy O'Donnell is our educational professional. She is a social worker and has been in the Vineland District for 13 years. Tamika Nelson Dawkins, Sabatier Elementary School. She is a kindergarten teacher and she has been with us 19 years. Anissa Anderson is a speech specialist and she has been 20 years in the Vineland District. Diane Rodriguez. Diane is at Rossi Elementary School. She is a second grade teacher and she has been with us for 12 years. Janet Headley is our educational professional. She has been in our school district for 25 years. Maureen Barreras is at Delago. She's a preschool teacher and she has been with us for 16 years. Jamie Molinelli Bragg is our educational professional and she has been with us for 19 years in our district. She is a student assistance coordinator. And then we have our administrator of the year. It's a pleasure to announce Deborah Quinn. She is this year's administrator of the year. She is currently principal at Wallace Middle School. She has been an administrator for 15 years, 10 years as principal. Thank you, Gia, for putting that presentation together, and congratulations to each and every one of the recipients.
Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. And on behalf of the Vineland Board of Education, we do also congratulate all of our educator, paraprofessionals of the year, as well as VASA Administrator of the Year, Ms. Quinn. Do we have any questions or comments on our HIB report this evening? Seeing none. Do I have a motion for the approval of minutes for March 11th, 2020 special budget meeting and March 11th, 2020 combined meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Codispoti,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich,
Yes,
Mr. English.
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you, Mr. Merkley. Do we have any committee reports this evening?
Mr. English, I do. I'll raise my hand.
Okay, Mr. Ulrich, I believe you have two tonight, correct?
I do.
All righty.
Okay, I'll start with the Policy and Personnel Committee has actually met twice. The first meeting was on April 6th. It was a virtual meeting, one of our first ones that kicked off. Present during that meeting, Dr. Gruccio, Dr. Rossi, Dr. Sneathan, myself, Mr. English, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Sabrana. During that meeting, it was really a short meeting. We discussed a contractual issue for school psychologists, which will actually be on was on the agenda last week, I believe. And we lost Master Sergeant Ronald Kelly's moving away from the district. So we were talking about the need to replace them and the extension of our school theater arts teacher, Mr. Kalakis. And that was it for the April 6th meeting. And that occurred in the morning at 9 a.m. On, let's see here. On May 4th, the Policy and Personnel Committee met again. Present during this meeting was Dr. Gruccio, Dr. Rossi, Dr. Sneathan, Dr. Rossi, myself, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Sabrana, and Miss Acosta on this meeting. Present was also a guest, our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Fry. So we had quite a lengthy agenda, just more of the business of the district. We discussed some personnel issues that Mr. Rossi's dealing with that are going to move forward to various stages of hearings and steps. We talked about our video production teacher opening. We discussed issuance of an emergent letter for our employees that haven't achieved tenure yet, which will be sent out. Some short-term contracts, extracurricular activities for the fall. The committee was told that the district is, waiting on guidance because spring sports have been canceled. And then fall stipends will be delayed until we receive definitive guidance that we're going to be opening and that fall sports will be allowed to continue, because right now everything is on hold and canceled. Some non-renewals for cause, a HIB report, and a preliminary discussion on our administrators' contracts, which are moving to Finance Committee and then back to Policy and Personnel. And that was it for the meeting on May 4th. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Fry and Ms. Acosta, they brought up establishing the framework for a policy that would cover some of our virtual instruction. And that grew out of the curriculum and technology meeting. There's going to be more discussion on that. And I think the consensus was to get some feedback from the teaching staff regarding our platforms that we have in place now, Google Classroom, and obviously have the union, Mr. Russo, engage with the administration and have everybody involved to craft a policy that made sense and was in a cooperative nature with our district employees. And that was actually it for the meeting. Any questions?
I just have a quick one to Mr. Orlich. You said the spring sports, they have to do physicals, and I believe the physicals are done like during the summertime. So I guess we have to really wait till they get off their physicals. And how are we going to be doing that? Or we're not quite sure even at this point.
I'll leave that to Dr. Gruccio.
Dr. Gruccio.
We're waiting for further guidance, Mr. English. Right now, we're not anticipating any spring sports. If anything changes, obviously, we would move forward with physicals. And when we know a little more about what's going to happen in the fall, then we'll move forward with that as well. We were told at this point in time not to put any stipends or coaching on or anything like that until closer to August, when we really have some more direction as to where we will be in the fall. So it's still kind of up in the air.
Gotcha. Now, sometimes I also notice we have like that weight room coordinator stuff that I think it goes through the summertime. So I guess that'll be on hold because I think that's like July, isn't it? So
correct.
Okay. All right. And I guess we're in communication with all those coaches and I guess the parents, and I guess they'll be aware of this. Does the district send something out to the
I don't know if
parents?
Mr. Robbins did or not, but I will certainly check with him.
Okay, that's fine. And just to piggyback, I did sit in on the curriculum meeting, and I hope we had some productive discussion. I couldn't make our policy meeting concerning the generating a policy for the virtual learning. And I do agree getting the input from everyone is probably the best way to go, so everyone is on board from the ground up. I guess that's pretty much it. Inez, you were able to do what you needed, and Mr. Fry, I hope it was helpful. And I guess as this still goes, you could just jump in there and still continue to be part of that process. You're fine with that, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Alrighty. Do we have any other?
Please update.
Yes, Meg, you are up. Thank you.
On Monday, March 30th, the Facilities Committee met, myself, Paul, Jean, Kim, and Scott. And we went over the sanitations of the schools since they have been closed. We talked about the roof repair at Veterans Memorial that was damaged from the high winds. I guess some pieces of the air conditioning unit had flown off. We talked about the bus yard update, the current maintenance department, all of the projects they're going to be doing throughout the summer. We talked about the food distribution and how they're sanitizing that area at the end of every shift. And that's about it for right now. And also the turf maintenance. There
Thank
was
you,
a
Meg. I
treatment
think
done.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There was a treatment done on the turf field to eliminate any of the weeds that were coming through.
Gotcha. I think you'll be happy. I drove by Memorial today and I saw some activity going on where the trailers were. So I think the process has started.
Oh, good.
So we can check some things off, which is good.
Yes, that is good.
If I could just for a minute, anybody that happens to have a report from one of the committee meetings, if you'd be kind enough to forward that to Rossini, then we can make sure it gets put up on the website. In case you haven't done that yet, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other committee reports?
I do.
I see we have Inez's hand up and then I got Joe Rossi's hand up too. Go ahead, Inez.
So on April 20th, we had our Board of Education, Instruction, Technology, and Committee meeting. Present were Mr. Sabrana, Mr. English, Mr. Silva, and Mr. Fry. And discussed were the state of academics right now, student participation in our new reality of virtual learning, grading. We discussed assigning, assessing results, and communicating with parents and administration. There was a discussion regarding grading for the marking periods during this period of virtual learning. And that would be whether or not to institute a pass-fail for marking periods or actual grades. And there's pluses and minuses to both. I think there's going to be further discussion. And finally, we talked about, we discussed the Garden State equality curriculum and pilot schools. And essentially, Mr. Fry informed us that our discussion, and this is regarding our statutory mandate to instruct under Chapter 35, Title 18 of the New Jersey statutes. I know that there was at previous meetings some objection regarding the LBT instruction that is mandated by the state. And we do not use the Garden State equality curriculum. Essentially, we've just infused it within various classes. So we're not using their curriculum. We're meeting the statutory requirement, just infusing it in various classes. And also, we discussed an internet survey that Mr. Fry took to ensure that students had internet accessibility at their homes while they're conducting virtual learning. And we were happy to hear that many, I think, Mr. Fry, I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's over 90% of the students did have internet service in order to participate in their virtual learning. And, I believe that also, for those students that did not have it, I think we provided a means to be able to connect. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Costa. Do we have any questions from anybody? Seeing none, I have Dr. Rossi with his hands up. Dr. Rossi, yes.
Yeah, Mr. English, just a quick update. I spoke with Mr. Robbins, the athletic director. We had gone ahead with postings for the fall. He will screen to the point of reaching finalists, and then we'll be in queue pending, direction for how we're going to proceed in the fall.
Okay.
Dr. Rossi, did he say if he was going to notify students or parents regarding the cancellation of sports?
No, I think the spring is a foregone conclusion, but
Okay,
the fall is just an unknown.
all right, thank you.
Mhm.
Maybe we can put something on our website page across there, just to keep tuning in to see if as we're updated. I guess that's the best thing.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. Do we have any other committee reports? Just a couple things on the committee reports. First, again, we're doing this virtual, and I think it's great. It's really working out well, and I would just want to thank everybody, central administration, the committee chairs, and the committee members for taking the time out to keep it business as usual during this tough time. And also, I spoke to a couple board members, and we had talked about this in years past, and it's like, I think June will be 6 months where we've all been on committees. I think there was some interest, a little more than there were in past years, concerning some board members that haven't been on certain committees. I think I still want to keep the chairs in place, but maybe switch some board members to different committees, some that might have sat on facilities and never been on finance, things like that. Try and just mix it up a little bit so everyone is a little bit more immersed in every committee. Sometimes I do forget that, I just assume that everybody's been on each committee, but, I think pretty much everybody in agreement with something like that from the board. Just give me a little hand up. You all right with that? Yeah. Very good. All right. Sounds like a plan. All righty. At this time, do we have any public comment by our board solicitor, Mr. DeSanto?
None, Mr. English.
Okay, thank you. At this time, do we have any public comment on agenda items? Please remember to limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Any member from the public that's on the telephone, it looks like there are several members. Hit *9 on your telephone, and that'll alert us that you would like to speak. *9 on your telephone.
And this is agenda items only, correct, Mr. Merkley?
That is correct.
Yes.
Give you a couple seconds. If you don't see anybody, then we will move forward.
Don't see anybody. That would be *9 on your phone.
We'll still have time at the end of the meeting, Scott.
Yeah, we'll still have general comments at the end. All right, this time, motion and resolutions by our superintendent, Dr. Gruccio, please.
Okay, we'll start with personnel, and there are several items, so I will read through all of them and offer time for discussion, and then I will group them all for approval at the end. So the first one is discussion of retirements, resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, employment transfers, and extracurricular summer activities.
Do we have any questions or comments?
Next one is approving the following annual appointments. First, it will be Mr. Merkley as Board Secretary, Custodian of School District Records, Contracting Agent, and Public Agency Compliance Officer.
Questions or comments?
I would recommend discussion on appointing Carmen DeGiorgio as Custodian of School Monies.
Questions or comments? No?
Next, appointments. First, it will be Mr. Merkley as Board Secretary, Custodian of School District Records. We okay?
Can you hear me all right?
Somebody
Yes.
was playing the YouTube, and it's a little bit behind.
Okay. The next one would be Scott Mustrell to fill in the following roles when needed in case there's an absence of Mr. Merkley. That would be Board Secretary, Custodian of School District Records, Contracting Agent, and transfer/investment of funds at authorized district depositories.
Questions or comments? No?
Discussion of Joseph Rossi as the Conscientious Employee Protection Act contact person, Section 504 Employee Compliance Officer, and the appointing authority / civil service hearing officer.
Questions or comments?
Terry Godlewski as the Section 504 Student Compliance Officer.
Questions or comments?
Danielle Sneeden, Working Papers Issuing Officer, Title IX Coordinator, Anti-Bullying Coordinator, and the School Safety Specialist.
Questions or comments?
Danielle Sneeden and Joseph Rossi, Affirmative Action Officers.
Questions or comments?
Paul Fernaccio, Americans with Disabilities Act Coordinator, the Right to Know Officer, the Integrated Pest Management Coordinator, the Indoor Air Quality Designee, the POSHA Officer, the Asbestos Management Officer, and the Chemical Hygiene Officer.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Keith Salerno as the Contracting Agent.
Questions or comments?
Hey, Scott, I do have a question, but I'm gonna go back to number one since this is the last one.
Okay.
On
Go
the
ahead.
summer appointments, there's some summer guidance hours scheduled. Is that contingent on whether, like, how would that work? Meeting with students.
Mr. Ulrich, we asked the principals, some of them require these people in the building over the summer. If we are still social distancing, which I am assuming we will be, we ask them to put it on for approval, such as guidance, department heads, people that have to come in over the summer to work on various things. And we asked them to please make sure, once they had approval, that they were coming in on a rotating basis, so we never had more than a few people in the building at one time. But we still needed to approve them being there so they can prepare to open in September.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right.
I just have a quick question. I think we talked about a little bit in agenda setting, but just want to get a clarification on it. We have Mr. Salerno, Contracting Agent is the title there. And then underneath, we're going to be talking about Mr. Merkley's being our QPA approval. In Mr. Merkley's absence, who would be our QPA? Would that be Mr. Salerno?
Please, Jean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Mr. Mostrell, and he can get assistance from Keith if necessary, but the BA must be our designated purchasing agent. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're only allowed to have one purchasing agent. So it's me as far as the law is concerned. But as far as who actually is doing the work, it's Mr. Salerno. We both are qualified purchasing agents. So really, the recommending part would be Mr. Mustarell, but the actual purchasing piece will be done by Mr. Salerno.
Okay. All righty. So his title of contracting agent doesn't mean QPA involved in that as well, or is that, should it be
No,
QPA / contracting agent, or just
It does.
contract? Okay,
Contracting agent basically means you're the buyer for the district.
Okay, perfect. Then got you covered. All righty. Any other questions?
1.3 is the next one, approval regarding the appointment of Mr. Merkley as the district's qualified purchasing agent and to establish the bid threshold at the amount pursuant to NJSA 18A:18A-3A and any increase authorized in NJSA 18A:18A-3B.
Any questions or comments?
Okay,
Seeing
then
none.
I would like to recommend approval of personnel items 1.1 through 1.3.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Mr. Merkley.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrano,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich,
Yes,
Mr. English.
Yes,
Those motions pass.
thank you.
I would like to recommend discussion of the following state rubric and Danielson evaluation models for facilitator and coordinator, guidance counselors, learning consultants, library media specialists, the nurses, physical occupational therapists, principals, school psychologists, school social workers, speech language therapists, supervisors, and teachers.
Do I have any questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of the purchasing manual for the 2021 school year.
Questions or comments?
Approval regarding the district school closure preparedness plan.
Any questions or comments?
I just want to explain
Miss-
that, I'm sorry.
Ms. Codispoti has her hand up, please.
I was just
Yes.
going to say, I believe this is a live document, right, Dr. Gruccio?
Yeah,
Because it-
that's what I was just going to say. We continue to get directives from the state. I received a checklist last night of things that have to be in our plan. Most of what needs to be in there, it's been updated 3 times already. So most of it is in place. I have to add a summer school piece for special education. So there may be a couple things that are missing, but I believe Mr. DeSanto in the resolution wrote that it would be an ongoing document. So I will keep changing it as need be, and I will share that with you. But once it's board approved, at least I can move forward to do that.
Yes, and Mr. English,
Yes,
the resolution also provides that as the changes are made, Dr. Gruccio provides the board immediately with a copy of the revised plan. So the board is constantly updated.
Right.
okay, okay. Do I have any other questions or comments?
Okay, then I'd like to recommend approval of 2.1 through 2.3.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Mr. Merkley.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich,
Yes.
Mr. English.
Yes,
Those motions pass.
thank
I'd
you.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the submission of the Vineland Public Schools VHS North Nursing Suite Project. NJDOE project number is listed for both schematic and final approvals as another project for which no state funding is requested and for an amendment to the district's LRFP to include this particular project.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the submission of the Vineland Public Schools VHS South Greenhouse Project for both schematic and final approval as other project for which no state funding is requested and for an amendment to the district's LRFP to include this project.
Questions or comments? Just a quick comment on both of these items. Very excited for both of them. Things that will definitely move the district students forward in a positive direction. So definitely looking forward to seeing these things get up and running.
Okay. I would like to recommend approval of items 3.1 and 3.2.
Do I have a roll? I'm sorry, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich,
Yes.
Mr. English.
Yes,
Those motions pass.
thank you.
And I'd like to recommend discussion of budgetary transfers for our general school-based and ECPA budgets for February 2020 and March 2020.
Questions or comments? Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion of the board secretary's report for February and March of 2020 and the treasurer report for February and March of 2020.
Questions or comments? Next.
Recommending discussion of the following funding. The New Jersey School Insurance Group 2020 Safety Grant. This would be in the amount of $61,089, and it would be for the purpose of expanding and upgrading cameras throughout the district.
Questions or comments? Just a quick comment. I love to see getting more cameras. This is a good thing.
Thank you.
Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the cancellation of the list of checks from accounts payable provided and on file with our board secretary.
Questions or comments?
I'd like to recommend discussion of a professional service contract to Allen and Associates Insurance. This will be for a 2-year term at the current rate. So it will be for July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2022.
Questions or comments?
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the renewal of health insurance with SCRBEF effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. This would have a 3.57% decrease in premiums from Aetna Health Insurance Plan for an approximate total of $28,051,500 based upon our current enrollment.
Any questions or comments?
It's always good to see a decrease.
That's sometimes you think it's a typo. That's it.
And I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the renewal of dental insurance with the Dental Alliance underwritten by Delta Dental effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. This would be with a 2.75% increase in premiums for the premium plan, a 1.18% increase for the premiums for the flagship plan, and a 1.011. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. And for the approximate total of $1,011,108.
And
And
$243,607 respectively.
$243,676 respectively. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to recommend discussion regarding another 2-year renewal of our prescription program with RX Alliance, which is Benecard, effective July 1st of 2020, and it would go through June 30th of 2022. 0% increase in our premiums for an approximate total of $6,998,492.
Questions or comments? Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding a professional service contract with Dr. Timothy Ryan for medical services as the chief school physician. This would be at the current rate for July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Questions or comments? Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding a professional service contract with Dr. Joseph Bernardini and Dr. Brad Bernardini for medical services as alternate school physicians at the current rate for July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Questions or comments? Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the healthcare staffing agreement between the City of Vineland Board of Ed and Epic Avana Health Services Incorporated. This would provide licensed practical nurses at $50 per hour, registered nurses at $60 per hour, and other health services listed on the Addendum A on an as-needed basis for special education students in a form that is acceptable by the board solicitor and the superintendent. This would be for July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Questions or comments? Next.
Okay, I'd like to recommend discussion regarding awarding the following contracts. First is food service management, which would be Sodexo, and the total contract amount would be $5,490,516.67, a guaranteed return of $325,000.
Questions or comments?
The next one is discussion on a professional service contract, which would go to Ford Scott Associates LLC for our auditor. Total contract amount is $72,700, and that's the annual audit fee, and $6,000 for the ASSA audit fee.
Questions or comments? No. Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion of 2-year renewal of the following contracts at the current contract price from July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, with an option to renew for 1-year term for a maximum of a 3-year contract. They are the following. Eduseer, which is our online educational service, the cost will range from $195 to $891. Electrical service, Leeway Electrical Service, estimated usage is $60,702.50. Do you want to go through each? I was going to go through each one. Do you want to do discussion on each one first?
You're doing good.
Okay, all right. The next one is for substitute teaching staff would be ESS. Their total contract amount pay rate plus 27.95% markup. Next is HVAC services to McCloskey Mechanical Contractors, Inc. The estimated usage is $32,060. Next would be maintenance and support of district IT services. This would be the Pro Computer Service. Total contract amount would be $35,900 per month or $430,800 yearly. The next one will be homebound instruction, which is ARC Education. The total current amount based on our estimated usage would be $48,500. The contracted hourly amount is $25 per hour.
Any questions or comments on them? Next.
I would like to recommend discussion of a year 3 renewal for the following contracts at the current contract price, July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. First, we have concrete and masonry services, which would be Fabry Builders Incorporated, with an estimated usage of $86,975. Next would be our plumbing services, Alaska Mechanical, estimated usage $91,500. Next would be our advertising gymnasium wall, which is GMI Enterprises LLC. Total percentage received by the district is 65%. Next is our roofing services, Kowalski Roofing Services. Estimated usage is $68,250. The final one is carpet and floor servicings, which is Rose Floor Covering. Estimated usage $33,337.50.
Questions or comments? Just a quick comment from me. Out of the 5 services there, it's good to see we have 4 out of the 5 from Cumberland County, so that's a positive. Hopefully we can somewhere down the line get a young kid that wants to become a roofer and start a business here in Vineland.
All right, next I'd like to recommend discussion regarding paraprofessional service contract to Gruccio, Pepper, DeSanto, and Ruth, PA, at the current rate for the fiscal year July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Any questions or comments? Next.
I would like to recommend discussion regarding a professional service contract to Gruccio, Pepper, DeSanto, and Ruth for labor relations attorney negotiator at the current rate, July 1, 2020, June 30th, 2021.
Questions or comments? Next.
Discussion regarding a services contract to Manders, Marigi, Porter, and Farrell Architects for architect of record at the current rate, again, July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Questions or comments?
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the tuition contract between Salem County Vocational School and the City of Vineland Board of Ed for the 2021 school year for the following amounts. 15 full-time students, $6,277 per pupil, and shared time, 2 students, $3,139 per pupil.
Questions or comments? Next.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the 2019-20 joint transportation agreement between Patterson Board of Ed and Passaic County and the City of Vineland Board of Education.
Questions or comments?
And finally, I would like to recommend discussion regarding professional services contract with Ford Scott and Associates in an amount not to exceed $6,500 to perform a review and analysis of CC Tech's tuition charges and adjustments to the district.
Questions or comments?
Yes, Scott.
Mr. Ulrich.
One is, I have a comment and then a question. The comment is, I'd really like to thank a lot of our professional service vendors and people that we do business with for holding the line as far as increases into the 2021 school year. So, hats off to every one of the contractors that we approved, that we have done business with, for holding the line for us, because that's a tough thing to do, because they have increasing expenses too. So my hat's off to them. The question I have is on 4.21, and I guess this would go to Mr. DeSanto, is why do we have to have an audit on adjustment charges?
Mr. English, should I respond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, Dr. Gruccio and Mr. English informed me that a former employee of CC Tech filed a lawsuit against the Cumberland County Board of Vocational Education. The lawsuit was brought under the Conscientious Employee Protection Act, which is known as the whistleblower law. And the complaint alleged that the administration at CC Tech failed to properly adjust tuition charges to various sending districts. And as a result of his repeated complaints, he was threatened and ultimately discharged. What he was referring to is the law requires that a vocational school calculate an estimate tuition, and that is the tuition that goes to the sending districts and is paid. The following year, an audit is performed of actual costs, and if there's a differential, then that differential is adjusted. So if the cost to a district was estimated at $6,000 and the actual cost was $5,000, the $1,000 either gets reimbursed in a later year or gets credited in a later year. So that is the formula that districts and vocational schools have been operating under. Dr. Gruccio asked me what, if anything, the district should do as a result of the allegations in this lawsuit. I informed her that we should not accept or reject the validity of those allegations, and that we should not voluntarily involve the district or the board in the litigation. The litigation is between the former employee and CC Tech. However, I further advised her that these allegations are serious, and as a sending district, the fiscally responsible thing for us to do is to review and analyze the charges that were made and the adjustments that were made to determine whether CC Tech's calculations over the years were in compliance with the code. I suggested to Dr. Gruccio that an independent external review and analysis be performed. And I suggested that that should be done by Ford Scott, our auditors, people familiar with our records and people that we are familiar with, and they are truly external and independent. And what Ford Scott would do is they would review CC Tech's audits and the submission of their records to the state on calculating tuition and compare them to our internal records of tuition charges and credits to see whether we've been properly reimbursed or credited by CC Tech. So in effect, the $6,500 is a not to exceed price for our independent external auditors to review and analyze charges and credits and reimbursements, just to make sure that we have been properly treated over these years by CC Tech. The allegations, as I said, we don't accept or reject, but they are serious enough that the board may want to consider looking into this just to make sure as a fiscally responsible thing to do.
Thank you.
Have we, Dr. Guccio, have we, this might be a question for Jean, have we received any credits yet?
I believe Mr. Merkley can answer, but I think we got a different tuition rate last year based on money that was owed to us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I think the tuition last year and the current year was dropped $1,000 a student.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments? I'm looking for those little hands waving up. Okay, seeing none.
We didn't approve these yet, right? I'm lost.
Oh, yeah, no, we have to go. We have to go back, yes.
Okay, I would like to recommend approval of finance items 4.1 through 4.21.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Mr. Merkley.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes, except I abstain from item 4.14, subsection C.
noted. Mrs. Catasbati,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes, but I will be abstaining from 4.14E and 4.15A.
noted. Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrano,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich,
Yes.
Mr. English.
Yes,
Those motions pass.
thank you.
Mr. English, that's the end of my recommendations.
Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. At this time, we have 10B, proposed items for review or discussion or adoption by board members. I do have one thing that I added to this agenda. Last night, we had 3 board members, Ms. Spinelli, Ms. Catasbati, Mr. Sobrana, as well as Dr. Gruccio attend the Cumberland/Salem County meeting. And I think you remember I had sent out an email about a month ago. I was in contact with Ms. Kirshner from New Jersey School Boards concerning some of the time schedule for the events that we have to get done in a timely fashion. And the one that I was mostly concerned about was our superintendent evaluation. And I was not part of that meeting last night, but correct me if I'm wrong, any of the 4 that were there. The superintendent evaluation was discussed and there was no change in the timeline. So the timeline is still to be completed by the 1st of July. And
June, it has to be to that, it has to be done into them by June 30th.
by June 30th, okay.
Mhm.
And what this does is this initiates the process, so it's read into our minutes. And then last year through CUSAC, somewhere down the line, something got lost as far as the any type of board minute that showed that the board actually completed this. I know that we did it. I know we spoke about it, but CUSAC had the county response was that we didn't submit it to minutes by the board. So Dr. Gruccio is looking into that. But what I'd like to do is I want to just confirm with Mr. DeSanto. I want him to go through the process. But I had asked Ms. Spinelli if she was interested in chairing this committee for the evaluation again, because she did it last year. It's pretty fresh. And then she would need 3 board members for a total of 4 board members to be part of this committee. So she definitely accepted. So from this point on, I am a conflicted board member, as I believe Mr. Ulrich and Mr. Silva are. So Meg will be in contact with via email. Currently, we do not have a New Jersey School Board rep, so Ms. Kirshner is our direct contact. So you could shoot her email. I believe on her site also has a cell phone number for her, but if we use the standard procedure like last year, I don't know how much we need them. I just want to make sure that we at least make one conversation so we know that the process has been started, make sure that nothing has changed. And I guess you guys did discuss that. And then I would ask that Mr. DeSanto just go over the the ground rules again, if I missed anything, but I think pretty much it's going to be business as usual. And we were a little pressing for time last year because we had various distractions. So I know that Ms. Spinelli wants to get on this rather quickly. So we're not pushing that time limit. So Mr. DeSanta, do you need to say anything?
Couple of things. One is that you've correctly identified the 3 board members who cannot participate in any way in the process, whether it's discussion or vote, they cannot participate anyway. Ms. Spinelli is familiar with the process, having done it last year, and I'm sure she's aware of the procedure. The only thing that I want to caution the board about is that one very important piece of this process is the meeting with the superintendent must take place before the report is finished. So there's going to have to be an executive session. There's going to have to be an executive session with the superintendent and the 6 non-conflicting board members. So I just asked Ms. Spinelli and the committee to be aware that at some point that meeting has to take place so that that gets done prior to the 30th. So you'll be in a position to submit the report by the 30th.
Okay,
Scott,
then
I think that's what, I'm sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Dr. Gruccio, you go first because mine's going to be a formality on executive session because we need to do that anyway.
Okay.
So,
If I understood the CUSAC piece correctly, just to clarify, Mr. English, we have met before, we have done the evaluation before, but we have never formally approved. They told us we don't formally approve the evaluation itself. You make sure that on the board agenda, you approve the fact that the process was completed. We have never done that before, ever. So I guess it's a new CUSAC guideline. If it isn't, we haven't done that for many years. So they want us to just formally somehow on our board agenda, make sure that the board's aware the process is complete. That's all.
Mr. English, each year, or many years, shall I say, we were guided by the New Jersey School Board's rep. So I would assume that if that was a requirement, it's very new because the rep would have informed the board to go through that. But what could happen? I just want to make sure of this, that whether it's anything we need to do publicly with respect to the closed session, even if it's not when we have a regular meeting night, we could have a special meeting, and the whole purpose of the special meeting is to pass a resolution to go into executive session. So at that special meeting, because it all depends on the dates that the committee and Dr. Gruccio can get this done. So let's just say there's a date in June when the 6 people and Dr. Gruccio can get together. Well, those 6 people could form the meeting at which you pass the resolution to go in executive session. The other 3 members don't even need to be in attendance there. So there is a possibility that you can have the closed session at a special meeting. So it doesn't need to be tacked on necessarily to your regular June meeting. Just letting you.
Just a follow up, Bob. I know we're going to have potentially a Donaldson hearing, and we're going to need executive session coming up for personnel contracts. So how are we going to achieve that, complying with rice notices and so forth in our virtual format?
That is something that will be a first, because the law at the very least discourages executive session, only those that are absolutely essential during this crisis. The situation with the Donaldson hearing perhaps can await until the summer sometime when perhaps it can be done. The situation with the superintendent, I would want to get some guidance from the county office because, in order for us to achieve the statutory date, we have to meet in executive session before the 30th. So there has to be some way to allow us to do it. And of course, the executive session virtually can be done physically. You just have to shut out everybody else.
Okay.
Bob, while you're clarifying that with the county, would you also
Yes.
ask the CUSAC question? I mean, that It's the first time it ever came up during a CUSAC review.
Yes,
You could just clarify that for us so we make sure we do things correctly.
and I will check the recent requirements for executive session and virtual meetings under the new law. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, what I would like you to do for the county question there is, we did receive a 0 score on that. And to our knowledge, none of us were aware of that. I have no problem moving forward. We have a July 1 meeting this year. So July 1, we will be saying that it has been complete. I don't know how they could penalize us for not knowing. So that's
Okay.
kind of the discussion, because again, it pulled our points down a little bit. So, it's hard to get hundreds as it is. So, I'm like to be in the 90s.
But
I
it was
will
discussed.
follow through right away with Dr. Gruccio on that.
Okay.
That was discussed several times. I know Meg did it, John did it. It was discussed at an open meeting.
Yes, and we thanked them because again, we conflicted out and, we had to cram it in there and get it done. So, I mean, I know it was discussed, but I couldn't find I didn't watch the meetings, but it wasn't really recorded in any minutes. So, let me do a quick recap. Meg will be chairing. I would just get one call in to confirm that what we're using is the way to go moving forward for the superintendent evaluation. You'll put the team together. Keep in mind, Mr. Merkley is board secretary, so he can set up any meeting for you. So keep him on the email trail as well as Dr. Gruccio. And then we do have our June meeting. I think that's a little cramped, but anytime after that June meeting, if we can get that special meeting in place, make it happen. And then when our July 1 meeting rolls around, we should be able to make the county happy with saying it was done, completed, etc. So officially it's in our minutes now that we started that the process has been initiated. So do I have any questions or comments on that?
I did reach out to the school board rep today to let her know that I would be chairing it, that I'm going to get started on it right away. I do have a volunteer from our board already that has said that they wanted to be part of the committee. So I'm just looking for 2 more people. And I did reach out and send an email to the school board because the eval is not electronically, which does not make sense to me. You would think in today's technology that it should be simplified and it should be electronic. And I believe they also have to upload last year's eval so that you can actually score the goals.
Okay.
Are you sure about that, Megan, that it's not electronic? I thought school boards put the entire superintendent evaluation electronically.
So when I went on today, it's up on there, but it's a PDF that has to be printed out.
I don't think so. I think they have it electronically. I'll reach out and find out for you.
So
Gene, okay, thank you, Gene. Also, the board's self-evaluation. I know the board self-evaluation isn't mandatory, but it's to our advantage to take that board self-evaluation. I believe that's on there as well. Can you just check that out for the board and get back to me on that, please?
Sure, I'll check both out.
Gotcha. I believe that's all. Do we have any other questions or comments with that? And again, thank you. Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm happy to help to participate in the committee.
Perfect. There's number 3. Taking care of business. I love it. Do we have 4?
Well, Kim had volunteered.
There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it. All right. Let it be known. And again, thanks to the people that took the time last night. I think that was a 2-hour webinar, and I know 3 board members, Dr. Gruccio, I appreciate that. And I tell you, sometimes, we've attended them in person, but as far as like we've been saying, to be able to be in the comfort of your own home, did it work out pretty good, or what were your thoughts? No thoughts? You'd rather go have dinner?
I'd rather be out, go out somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, no worries. Listen, I appreciate that. Let me see. Okay, we're at number 11 now. Do I have any questions or comments for bills that incurred for the month during February 2020 and March 2020.
Scott, again.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Guccio and Mr. Merkley and Mr. Fry for getting back to me on the questions I had regarding the bills, because there was $14 million worth of bills that went out. So some of the numbers were big, but hats off. I apologize for the late night email last night, but you can work when you can work. So I really appreciate it. The only question that I had that seemed like it wasn't quite resolved was the $10,000 deposit to Dave & Buster's. So that's been paid. How do we get that money back?
I believe Mr. Merkley can speak to that. I believe he and Bob have talked and Jean's reached out to the company, so.
Yeah,
he doesn't-
normally we wouldn't discuss that because that's usually a very guarded secret.
Yes.
But because it won't be occurring this year, we can discuss it. Me and Mr. DeSanta have already reviewed the contract, and we have 30 days from the time that the event is supposed to occur to cancel the contract, which would be May 15th. So our issue was, and Bob, I'm not going to speak for you, you can chime in here, was that contract for that event was in Pennsylvania. And at the time we were discussing it, New Jersey had closed, but Pennsylvania hadn't closed. If it was in New Jersey, it would be a slam dunk, and I think we would have been entitled to everything back. But Bob, do you want to speak to that? I think the deposit, you thought in reading it we were going to lose, but that would have been about it.
I would prefer not to discuss it publicly.
Okay.
We're not going to give up yet. And we will report to the board what we do.
Thank you.
I would like to work with Mr. Merkley one more time, one final time to try to get that done. Okay?
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion for the approval of bills incurred for February 2020, March 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Acosta,
Yes.
Mrs. Codisbody,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli,
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich,
Yes, and again, thank you.
Mr. English.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Number 12, we have no prior approval for emergent items, so we're at number 13, the opportunity for the public to address the board on any item. And remember to please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Do we have anyone?
Please hit *9 on your phone if you'd like to make a comment, for those of you who are on the telephone. Just for the public's knowledge, there's only one person on the phone.
All righty then, seeing none, at number 14, do we have any old business by board members? Seeing none, do we have any new business? Number 15. See no hands raised. At this time, we have our board member remarks. I will start with Ms. Codisbody.
Thank you. First, I'd like to wish all of our teachers a happy Teachers Week. From everything that I'm watching on Facebook and the emails going through, you all are going above and beyond to make sure that our students feel appreciated, they're being taught, they're being loved, and they're being fed. To all of our nurses, happy Nurses Week. Congratulations to the winners of the Governor's Education and Educational Professional of the Year Award, and to Miss Quinn for the Administrator of the Year. With the schools closing early, my heart aches for our seniors graduating, but I am confident that Mrs. DeMarchi and our administration have something fantastic in mind. I reached out to Ms. DeMarchi today and I asked her if there was anything that she needed. I'll volunteer to do whatever they need to help to make our graduates have something to remember. To our parents, remember we're still feeding on Mondays. You can still pick up food. Is that correct? How long will that go
Except
on?
for, we did send a message out for Memorial Day weekend that it'll be on Tuesday, but yes, we are continuing with the food program.
I do get a lot of questions about that. So, and I told them, I would ask again. So that's about it. Just please, everyone, be safe. Keep your studies going, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. Cataspati. Mr. Sabrana.
Yes, as Ms. Cataspati said, this is National Teacher Appreciation Week, and we want all our educators to know how much we appreciate their dedication and their sacrifice in this unprecedented, challenging time. Like our medical professionals, they're helping to keep the world spinning, and we're really grateful for that. Also, it is a difficult time for our seniors, and there's been a lot of people reaching out and asking questions and comments, and of course, it's difficult to answer them because we don't really have any information other than it's unlike any year. And for the last 25 years, there's always been that rush of activity leading up to commencement, and it's something that we all really miss. It's a chance to celebrate the accomplishments of our students in athletics and academics and extracurricular activities and music and all those other great things. Hopefully this will be over soon, and that as Dr. Gruccio said to me the other day, there's still an opportunity that we may be able to have some sort of recognition for the great work that our kids have done. Congratulations also to our paras and to Ms. Quinn on their recognition, as well as all the other teachers. And I hope that, as I said, this is over pretty soon, because it's been a very, very difficult time for everybody. Please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sabrana. Mr. Silva.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate all of our governors, educators, and ESPs of the year. I would also like to wish all of our teachers a happy Teacher Appreciation Week. All of you have risen above what you were trained to do, throwing yourself not only into online teaching, but also into impromptu roles. For that, I thank you. Secondly, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Deborah Quinn as a VAST Administrator of the Year. And lastly, today is National Nurses Day, and I would like also to pay tribute to our incredible nurses, healthcare heroes, frontline and essential workers who are all working tirelessly to keep us healthy and safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Mr. Fiocchi.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, real quick. Happy Teachers Week. Happy Nurses Week. Congratulations to all the teachers and professionals that were recognized by the governor. Special congratulations to Ms. Debbie Quinn, our esteemed Administrator of the Year. She really took on a big undertaking, moving from Winslow to Wallace, and that was not an easy one. But she's taken it in stride and has cemented her legacy as one of Vineland's finest administrators. I'm in Wallace School every week, mentoring for Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I see firsthand the work that she does with her students every day. So congratulations to her. Everyone be safe, stay healthy, stay positive mindset for the rest of the school year. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Ms. Acosta.
I too just want to echo some of the comments made by my fellow board members. Of course, I'd like to congratulate the governor's Educator of the Year, all of the teachers and paraprofessionals that were selected have shown that they have done above and beyond. And I've had the pleasure of actually knowing many of those teachers that were selected, guidance counselors, social workers that have helped my children along their educational journey. So I thank them all. But really, this is it's a fitting week to also have Teachers Appreciation Week. I can't thank the teachers enough for what they're doing and how they're connecting with their students, what they're just going above and beyond to ensure that our kids are learning. I know that, and of course for our nurses, honestly, they are incredible, giving, loving people, caring for those that really need it the most, especially in today's day. To our students, I just want a quick thing. I know my daughter initially had, I think my children initially, just couldn't grasp this whole social virtual learning. I think they thought it was like the start of, just a little mini vacation. Um, I think now the severity of the situation has really dawned on them, and the fact that they won't be able to see their friends before the end of the school year. There's so many different things, they're going through a lot. So I know that all students out there must be feeling the same way. They must be missing their friends, their teachers. It's difficult on parents. We've talked to a lot of parents who are really struggling, and they understand how difficult it is to teach students. So I can't thank teachers enough for all that you've done for our students. And to the students, I just, keep your chin up. This is, definitely a difficult time for you. And certainly my condolences. I don't even know what to say to our wonderful senior. I have one. And so as a parent, I certainly know the disappointment that I feel that my child is not able to participate in the things that seniors would normally be participating in this time of year. So I know that this is very difficult. There was a wonderful young lady that I met at Acme as I was checking out, who's a senior, who was telling me how sad she was because she felt, how could this be happening, her senior year. But I am sure that we're going to work together, and we're going to honor and celebrate and pay tribute to each and every one of you seniors that will be going on to do bigger and better things. So God bless you all. Please stay safe. And I really can't wait to see all of you in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Acosta. Ms. Spinelli.
Hello. Firstly, it's good to see my school board family. I miss you all, and I can't wait to see everyone in person. I want to just congratulate all the teachers in the district for Teacher Appreciation. Like you said, they're really the heroes right now. Congratulate all the nominees of Governor Educator of the Year. And a big congratulations to Miss Quinn. That's a huge honor, and super proud of her. I look forward to working with her in the future. And everybody stay happy and healthy. And I can't wait to see everybody hopefully really soon.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Ulrich.
Yes, thank you, Mr. English. I'd like to really start off by Nurses Appreciation Day. For our being a former first responder, 34 years. I mean, police officers and nurses have unique relationships because you're constantly involved with responding to the hospital, and whether it's trying to help save someone's life, or protecting a crime scene, or responding to some type of complaint. But throughout the years, I've got to know personally a lot of great people at the emergency room, in Spear Medical Center, doctors, but nurses, because they're on the true front lines right now. And God bless them. I mean, this is a terrible, terrible situation. So today is Nurses Appreciation Day. So thank you to all our nurses out there for coming to work every day. And that has to be difficult, at this point. On a happier note, our Teachers of the Year, I'd like to congratulate them. One in particular is I'm proud to call a personal friend in the circle of my friends. Her and her family, Diane Rodriguez, Jose Rodriguez, her two children. They're family friends. We socialize together. It's so glad to see people that you know get recognized by peers, because peer recognition is absolutely the best recognition, because it means that the people around you, they really think something special of you. So congratulations to them, and to Debbie Quinn, who I believe, is one of the most engaged principals in our district. I do have a present for her. It's not because of this, but my mom did make her Eagles face covering mask. I do have it. I have to figure out on Monday how to get it over to Wallace School and social distance and not violate any governor's policies. But so congratulations, Miss Quinn. It's a tough time, and everybody's doing the best we can. And I talked to Dr. Gruccio today, and it's something I think I always end our telephone conversations with, is that we're doing the best we can. Everybody is trying to be that online instructor, is trying to do the right thing. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. So you can't say enough about what has been thrown into our seniors. And, the problem with that is, like, for spring sports and that were canceled and interrupted, we have scholarship athletes. We have juniors that are coming up that are scholarship athletes. These individuals, in our softball programs and stuff like that, they're going to get, full scholarships. We have some very talented individuals, in our VHS sports programs. So for them, it's a bummer. It's sad, but keep on plugging away. And I think everybody's in the same boat across the country. Just thank you. Sorry to the seniors. I hope we get something worked out. I've never missed a graduation in the 12 years that I've sat on the board, and it's been hot out there, and we've been sweating. And I try to get Dr. Gruccio to drink water. She never listens to me. She's there sweating with all of her regalia on, and I always try to make sure, are you hydrated? Drink some water. So it's, it's just a tough time, but thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Orich. Dr. Gruccio.
Thank you, Mr. English. First of all, this has been a very big week. Monday was Bus Driver Appreciation Day. The whole week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and today is Nurses Appreciation Day. So, I want to thank all of them for the job they do for our students and for our district, and they're very much appreciated. I also would like to thank all of those who received recognition tonight, as well as our Administrator of the Year, Debbie Quinn. They're all well-deserved people. We do have an apple for each of you, and I will figure out a way to get that to you. Thank you for all that you do for our kids every day. I'm just so grateful. Finally, regarding graduation and whatever, we did speak with Donnie Robbins today, Mr. Ulrich, regarding the athletic piece. There are many of our kids who are going to be getting coaches awards and scholarships. So Mrs. DeMarchi asked him if he would please put some type of a presentation together that we could show on TV, like a slideshow or whatever, so the kids would know what awards they're receiving and we'd be able to recognize them in some fashion. So we are working on that. And I have been meeting with the class officers and Mrs. DeMarchi regularly to try to figure out what we can do to still make this very special for our seniors. All of us would love to have a regular graduation, and we know that can't happen because even if we come back in September, there will be social distancing requirements. So knowing all of that, we are working with the kids to try to do the best we can. We know we're beginning to work on a virtual graduation that will exist. We are having our board president and our mayor come to speak at Landis one day so that we can tape them. Mrs. DeMarchi, we will tape her. G has been working hard. So we will have something. We'd like to go a step beyond that and try to find a way that we could have at least just that immediate family be there for each child as we actually hand them a diploma. We have to see if we can work it out and if it's acceptable. I'm trying to think what, we want their picture taken as they get their diploma, which we've done at every graduation. We're trying not to leave anything out. We want it to be as memorable as it can for them, even though they don't realize they're going to be making history by not graduating in the typical fashion. But we're trying to do everything we can to make this meaningful for them and their families. And we will continue to look for ways. We have ordered yard signs for each senior, and we will be delivering them personally to every family and putting them on the yard. So we're really working with the kids and trying to do whatever is acceptable with the governor and our city officials so that we can make this special for them in some way or some fashion. So we truly have not forgotten them. And I will keep you in the loop as we get some things finalized as to what we can do. But thank you all for your support, and congratulations to everyone who was recognized tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. And thank you, my fellow board members. It seems like anymore there's appreciation days for everything. I believe I didn't know that plumbers had an appreciation day until I saw it on Facebook last week, so I couldn't wait to post it up there. 268 likes later, I got my own day. You know what? So it's pretty nice to be appreciated. Just a couple other ones that are out there. The month of May is also Ms. Cadaspadia informed me that it is Military Appreciation Month. So thank you to all our armed services. We know you go far beyond the call of duty. National Nurses Day today. Very dear to me. My grandmother was head of pediatrics for Newcomb Hospital for years, and she was the old school nurse that had the cape on and the hat on, the old school way. Maybe some of us don't remember that, but I do remember it. And she was always known as the woman that her shift was when that last patient went home. She spent many nights sleeping on a cot somewhere and very dedicated to the cause. And long and behold, now I have my daughter, Nina, who also went into the nursing profession. So I get to see firsthand the commitment and the dedication that goes into being a nurse and taking care of sick people. And it's really an emotional roller coaster experiencing that as a father, but to see your daughter turn into a young lady and take this profession so seriously. And it's very humbling for me, like I said, as a father. But I just want to say to all our nurses out there, you definitely deserve this day. You really deserve this year for all that you were doing during this trying time. 2019, 2020 District Governors Educators of the Year and our Educational Service Paraprofessionals of the Year. I'd like to thank Gia for putting that little video together. I thank each one of you for your services day in and day out. We know it's not easy when it's normal, let alone what's going on now. Just a tremendous job by all. I do congratulate each one of you. And Dr. Gucci and I had spoke. We like it to be very personal when it comes to this award each year. So we'll try and squeeze something in when we go back live and get to acknowledge you guys in a face-to-face format. So again, congratulations and thanks as well. Teachers Appreciation Week. What can I say? I mean, we can't thank you enough for the job that's being done. I watch the news, and just to see where Vineland is with this virtual learning, we really are, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of negative being said about it, but we're so far ahead of other districts and other states. So the job and the preparation that was done to get to this point before the COVID even was out there, that professional development things, I mean, it's really showing that it has paid off the time that our teaching and staff members have put in. So enjoy your week of appreciation, definitely well deserved. To our VASA Administrator of the Year, Miss Debbie Quinn. This is really dear to me. Debbie and I go back to the third grade. We actually were the inaugural third grade class when they opened the mid-70s. They opened Marie D. Durand School. And long and behold, here we are many years later. I see she's got 25 years in the Vineland Public School District. It kind of makes me feel old, older than I think I am when you think about that. Debbie and I, we are just two disciples of great educators over the years. The teachers we had, just phenomenal. Debbie and I share that same passion for perfection, and it's so hard to be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect, but something we always were taught by our teachers were never to give up and always keep believing in the dream. So to see her get this honor, definitely well deserved. And you know, you're not only one of the best administrators I know, you are definitely a best friend as well. So congratulations to you. Finally, to our VHS graduates, I received an email today and it was addressed to me, but it also had board members on it. So I'll be sharing it after the meeting to each one of you. I need to let the parents and the students know something. Our hearts are broken as board members. We can't say it enough. Unfortunately, we do not run the day-to-day operations of the school district. We can lend some suggestions to Dr. Gruccio and Ms. DeMarchi and her staff, but they are 100% capable of putting a first-class event together, be it in the virtual style. Continue to send us your emails because we do forward them on to Dr. Gruccio and Ms. DeMarchi. But I just want to let you know that your emails do not fall on deaf ears. We feel your pain, and I wish there was something that could ease it, but there is nothing I could say to make it right except the words congratulations, because it is definitely an honor to have a high school graduate. And it's just really another chapter in your child's life because there's so many good things still ahead for them. So don't get discouraged. Whatever this district decides to put out there for our graduating seniors, I can guarantee you that it will be the very best and a first-class event like no other, because it truly is historical in another way. I encourage everyone to continue to practice the social distancing, to stay healthy, and to stay safe throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. It's a cliche, but we will be stronger in the end for this, and we are all in this together. So I wish everyone a good and safe rest of May. We will see you again in June. I now ask my board members for a motion for, yes, I'm sorry.
One thing before we end, I tell you, I am forgetting my mind sometimes. Age is catching up with me. I'd be remiss if I didn't note that May 15th is Peace Officers Memorial Day, also known as National Appreciation Police Week. We've had so many police officers that have been exposed, infected, and unfortunately passed away from this pandemic. So, you know, that's heavy in our hearts also. So for those out there that are answering the calls on the front line, you know, they need to be in our prayers and our thoughts also. And with COVID-19, we are going to our safety committee. That's going to morph into an overall response also to that. So that's something that, you know, we'll tackle as Dr. Gruccio gets some further guidance, but those conversations are obviously occurring.
Mr. English, I also just wanted to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. That's coming up soon, and we don't get to see each other in person. So to all of our families and all of us who have a mother, you know, I just want to wish you a beautiful weekend. And for those of us who have lost a mother, just please keep them in your heart, because mothers are very special and you only get one. So thank you.
Thank you. I got to tell you, I do love this format, because I guess when you're sitting in that horseshoe that we sit in, sometimes I don't get to see the passion in my fellow board members' faces when they do speak. And again, I can't thank each one of you enough, because the time you take away from your families to do what you're doing, it's definitely appreciated by me. And I mean, anytime I'm in the public, I try and let the public know they really think it's easy, but boy, till you walk in these shoes, man, it's not an easy thing. So definitely thank you to each one of my fellow board members for this. It is a volunteered position, and the hours we put in are long ones. So again, thanks to everyone. Again, like Dr. Gruccio said, happy Mother's Day to you mothers out there. And at this time, I would ask that we have a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and
care,
have a
everybody.
great night.
Good night,
Yes.
everyone.
Stay
Care.
safe, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.